out of the car now. Get out of the car.
I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me?
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
Get your hands off me, please. Get your hands off me.
You know what?
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. I didn't do anything. Don't do that.
What would you do if you were asked to pull over by the police? And then, in a twist of events, you find yourself pepper sprayed? Sounds like something straight out of a movie, right? Well, this is real life, and it gets even crazier. We're breaking down what happened, how it unfolded, and what you need to know if you ever find yourself in a situation like this. Stay tuned, because things are about to get intense.
Get out of the car now. Get out of the car.
I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me? I didn't do anything. Whoa, hold on. What?
On December 5th, 2020, Second Lieutenant Karen Nazario, a U.S. Army officer, was driving his new SUV when he was pulled over by two police officers from Windsor, Virginia.
T News Now showed you this. An Army lieutenant is suing two Windsor police officers who pepper sprayed him in a traffic stop.
At the time, Nazario was in full uniform, but what followed was a series of events that would lead to a controversial lawsuit.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, dude, you should be. Get out.
What's
Get out.
going on?
Get out the car. Get out
I
now.
have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest for you're being detained.
Nazario, aware of the situation, decided to pull over at a nearby gas station, an attempt to ensure his safety by stopping in a well-lit, populated area.
Now, lawmakers and activist groups are calling for a federal investigation into this. Look at your screen.
As Nazario stopped his vehicle, officers Gutierrez and Crocker approached, guns drawn. The officers, believing Nazario was a threat, instructed him to exit the vehicle immediately.
I'm honestly afraid to get out. Can I?
Yeah, dude, you should be. Get out.
What's
Get out.
going on?
Get out the car. Get out
I
now.
have not committed any crime.
You're being stopped for a traffic violation. You're not cooperating at this point right now. You're under arrest for you're being detained. Okay, you're being detained for obstruction of justice.
The video shows one of the officers pepper spray the lieutenant, then get him out of the vehicle and force him onto the ground. Virginia Attorney General Mark Herring is calling what happened unacceptable, and the Isle of Wight NAACP has called for the officers to be fired. The Windsor Police Department has not commented.
Nazario keeps his hands visible, trying to remain calm. Nazario tried to de-escalate the situation by explaining his circumstances. However, the officers seemed to feel threatened, and their actions quickly became aggressive. The officers forcefully removed Nazario from the vehicle. He was then pepper sprayed, wrestled to the ground, and handcuffed, all while still trying to explain himself. Despite his efforts to comply, Nazario was subjected to forceful restraint, including being pepper sprayed multiple times. The entire altercation was captured on multiple body cams, as well as Nazario's own phone.
And if you've watched the video, you'll see there's several times in the video where Officer Crocker makes an effort to de-escalate that situation verbally with his mouth. He changes his pitch, his tone, his demeanor. That is somebody right there who has the makings of being a policeman, that sees that understands that importance. I've known Daniel since he was 14. He's a lifelong resident of the town of Windsor. He wants to serve his community. And there is little to no doubt in my mind that with some additional training and a few more years under his belt, he will continue to serve this community well. And as is with everything, this is a teaching moment for us. This is a teachable moment. Look at your favorite NFL team. After every game on Sunday, what happens? Right? Win or lose, bad or good, everybody goes into the building, gets on the film, right? Looking at, hey, what can we do better? What did we do good? What did we do bad? Where do we got to make changes? How do we become more efficient and more effective and do a better job? And that's the same thing that we're going to do with this. Is we're into it. We know there's deficiencies there. We're going to work to fix those deficiencies and move forward.
In 2021, Nazario filed a lawsuit claiming his rights were violated during the traffic stop.
Lieutenant Nazario has filed a lawsuit with the U.S. District Court citing, quote, unlawful seizure, excessive force, illegal search, violating his First Amendment right to free speech, and common law assault, battery, and false imprisonment. Joining me now to discuss this is Second Lieutenant Karen Nazario's attorney, Mr. Jonathan Arthur. Mr. Arthur, thank you so much for joining me. First of all, before we get into the specifics of the case, the most important question I have is, how is your client doing right now?
So he's hanging in there. The attention and the outpouring from the media and from really our fellow Americans has been phenomenal and supportive for him. When the news story first broke, we were expecting the trolls because the trolls come out, but the support from the people in the community has been, it's helped him a whole lot. We're still concerned about retaliation from law enforcement and concerned about retaliation from some of the elements that like to back law enforcement actions no matter what they do. So
talk to me about that. What exactly is he concerned about? I know you said retaliation. Has he been getting threats? Has anything happened to make him feel this way, or is this a general feeling of just racism in the nation?
Well, I mean, we'll say yes to the last part, and you go to the part about the threats. I mean, if you take a look at the video, the officers threatened to destroy this man's military career if he spoke out, right? And, if you've seen the documents and read the lawsuit, we're alleging and we believe that they went back to their police department right after they pulled this stunt and put statements that were materially false into the record in the event that they needed to pull the trigger, if you will, on this retaliation. So now that he decided to speak out, put himself on the line, he's worried about the retaliation.
What were some of the statements that were materially false that they put in his file just in case he spoke out? What were some of those things?
So I do not have the use of force reports in front of me, so I'm going to paraphrase, which may be a little bit dangerous, but I believe both Officer Gutierrez, or former Officer Gutierrez, and Officer Croker stated that my client, slapped their hands away before they tried to pepper spray him. For example, said that he was not complying, said that he didn't have his license plate on his vehicle. All of those are materially false. The video demonstrates it. And the fact that these officers decided that they didn't even need to worry about the video camera, put these in the official record, is beyond me.
So many people in the country, millions of people, in fact, in the country have already seen the video. But can you kind of take us through that night of December 5th, 2020, and tell us, particularly the parts that we don't get to clearly see or hear in the body camera video. Let's start with the fact he gets pulled over ostensibly for not having a license plate. It was a new car. He did have a plate, though, did he not?
He did, right? And, if you take a look at the videos, both Officer Croker and former Officer Gutierrez's body-worn camera footage, you can see the license plate when they get out of the vehicle. It's in the upper right-hand back corner of that vehicle, like where anyone else would put a temporary DMV tag. It's sitting right there. But we got to take the story back even a little bit farther, right? When Officer Croker initiates this traffic stop. So the lights go on, and if you're watching the body cam footage, you see Officer Croker pass this Amazon tractor trailer. The lights go on, and almost immediately, this Amazon tractor trailer passes the squad car again. So we get this external verification that my client has slowed down. Then Officer Croker starts relaying the speed back to dispatch over the radio. And you hear him say 23. You hear him say 18. This is below the posted speed limit. Again, my client is submitting to their show of authority. So he's pulling up and it's dark. It's 6 o'clock in December. There's no lights on 460. He turns on his turn signal and he waits and pulls over at a well-lit gas station for his safety and for the officer's safety, like we're all trained to do. And
this is entirely legal, right? I mean, that's an important point that you make here, because there are people who will say, well, if the officer pulls you over, you got to pull over immediately. He slowed down his speed. He makes it clear. He puts on a turn signal to recognize compliance, and then he goes to a well-lit area. These are all things that we are legally permitted to do as drivers, no?
We're encouraged to do it, right? For you don't want to pull over on the side of an unlit road and make an officer do a traffic stop where he might get hit by a car. You're told to pull over.
His legal team argued that the force used was excessive and unjustified. On an interview of Jonathan M. Arthur Nazario's lawyer with Mark Lambton Hill, the defense argued that Nazario's failure to pull over immediately led to a heightened risk, justifying their actions. The jury awarded damages to Nazario, but largely sided with the officers on other allegations. The case has since sparked debates about the use of force during traffic stops and the treatment of service members by law enforcement. While Nazario was awarded damages, his legal team plans to appeal the ruling. This case highlights the ongoing challenges many face when interacting with law enforcement, especially during high-stress situations. For more real action, subscribe for more heroic moments